All right, let's dive right into this explainer and unpack a massive paradigm shift. We spend so much time talking about how AI sounds, how it chats, and the crazy images it paints. But what if I told you we're standing on the edge of a completely different era? We are looking at the jump to agentic AI.
So think about your daily workflow for a second. Ask yourself, what actually changes when your AI goes from being this passive chat interface into an active, autonomous coworker? What happens when it stops waiting for your every single command and just starts accomplishing complex tasks entirely on its own? Well, that is exactly the core question we're answering today.
The AI evolution, going from simple predictions to actual actions. To understand what agentic AI really is, we've got to take a quick look at how we got here.
It's basically been a journey through three main stages. We kicked things off with predictive and classification AI. The early stuff. Then we moved into the stage we're all super familiar with right now, generative AI. This is where AI learned to generate text, images, code, you name it. But take a look at this third stage. This is where it gets wild. We are officially entering the era of agentic AI. These systems don't just sit around reacting to prompts, they plan, they make decisions, and they actually operate tools with barely any human handholding.
Enter Agentic AI, your brand new coworker. Let's see how this shapes up into something that acts way more like a proactive project manager than, say, a needy intern. This perfectly illustrates the massive gap between standard AI and where we're heading. It's literally night and day. With the typical chatbots we use today, the whole process is super linear. You give it an input, the AI spits out an output, and then, well, it just stops. It just kind of steers blankly at you waiting for the next command. Agentic AI is an entirely different beast. It understands a broad, overarching objective. It breaks that objective down into steps, picks the right tools for the job, executes those steps, and then, here's the kicker, it evaluates its own work and continually readjusts until the goal is actually finished.
Under the hood, how AI agents actually work. Let's break down the 6 key mechanisms that make all this autonomy possible. Mechanism number 1, the reasoning engine. Basically, this is the brain of the whole operation. It's usually powered by a massive language model, and its main job is to make decisions. It looks at your complex goal, reasons out the absolute best way to tackle it, and calls the shots for every single step along the way. Then we have mechanism 2, task decomposition. So instead of trying to swallow a massive, complicated task whole, the agent chops it up into bite-sized, manageable pieces. If you tell it to run a marketing campaign, it doesn't just panic. It divides that big objective into research, writing, scheduling, and reporting. Or say you need a crazy multi-city flight booked. It breaks that down into checking the schedules, comparing the prices, booking the tickets, and then seamlessly dropping them right onto your calendar. To actually execute those steps, the agent relies on external tools. We're talking searching the web, pulling from databases, or pinging APIs, just like you would. And crucially, it uses memory. It holds on to short-term context for whatever it's working on right now, but it also has long-term acquired learning. That means it literally gets smarter and more aligned with your style the more you work with it.
Now, mechanism 5 is honestly my favorite, self-checking output. Unlike a normal chatbot that might just give up or, confidently hallucinate if it hits a wall, an intelligent agent actually evaluates its own results. On the fly, it decides, should I keep going, revise my strategy, or maybe ask for a little clarification? It course corrects instead of just throwing in the towel.
And the final piece of the puzzle is multi-agent coordination. For those truly massive, complex projects, you aren't just relying on one single agent. You can literally have specialized agents interacting and collaborating together. Imagine having one agent dedicated totally to research, who then hands its findings over to a writing agent, who then passes that to a proofreading agent, all overseen by a single controller. It's quite literally a digital team of specialists cranking away on your project. And the best part is, you don't even have to buy them coffee.
The upgrades and why agentic AI really matters. Let's pivot from the engineering side of things and look at the real tangible benefits this brings to your day-to-day work.
The main takeaway here, we're moving from assisted tasks to real start-to-finish automation. This gives you massive scalability, instant data-driven decisions, and a level of consistency with incredibly low human error. Plus, unlike those rigid, old-school software programs, if some weird, unusual situation pops up, the agent can actively reason its way through it and adapt right there on the spot.
In the wild, real-world use cases. Let's ground all this tech and look at some actual applications, so you can see how this hits your specific industry.
If you scan through this, you'll see agents are already stepping up across the board. In customer service, they aren't just spitting out FAQs anymore. They're actively resolving issues and initiating refunds without anyone lifting a finger. Over in software development, they're writing, testing, and deploying code. Whether it's digging up data and synthesizing structured reports, autonomously managing your personal calendar and emails, or tracking a supply chain to fix an abnormality before a human even notices, the applications are just endless.
The road ahead, the catch, and the future. Now, before we just blindly hand over the keys to the kingdom, we definitely need to talk about the very real hurdles this tech still has to clear. As these systems get more and more autonomous, we simply can't ignore the friction points. The industry still has some massive technical challenges to solve around the reliability of execution. Plus, there are huge safety and security issues when you give a machine the power to take real-world actions. And honestly, the biggest one might be alignment, making absolutely sure that the autonomous actions the AI decides to take actually match up with genuine human intent.
But even with those hurdles, the momentum is undeniable. AI is officially shifting from a simple tool into an assistant you can fully delegate work to. As this quote perfectly points out, those who master how to design, launch, and handle Agentic AI are going to be in a prime position for success. Because at the end of the day, the goal isn't to replace human thinking. By handing all that tedious process execution over to agents, it frees us up. It lets human thinking focus purely on the high-level creativity and strategic decision-making that actually requires a human mind. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought to chew on as you look at your own to-do list today. We're officially crossing the threshold from AI being just a tool you use to an autonomous teammate you actively collaborate with. As this technology becomes your newest coworker, how are you going to evolve your own workflow